This is Black Country Blokes chewing the fat.
Listen.
I've been hearing a lot lately about men don't talk, but in my experience, men do talk, just people aren't listening. So it's going to be me and a group of blokes discussing our struggles and victories through life. Warning, there may be some bad language, so apologies to all the moms, especially my own. Let's get going.
Listen.
Having, yeah, it's the Black Country Blokes chewing the fat. With me, Kev Dillon, Aaron Dew, Lee Cadman, and we're joined today by our new Black Country member, Tom Garrett. Unfortunately, Craig can't be here tonight. It's one of his baby's birthdays, so happy birthday. Now, tonight, what we're going to be doing is we're going to talk about Christmas. And it ain't the Christmas we're necessarily used to. Well, like for me, normally we've normally had a Christmas Boxing Do. Then we've gone out for the coaches' meal where we get all the coaches together. Then we have Kevmas where we have everyone around. Then day by day we're having another family and friends you only see once a year now. Now we're all old farts and we've got families of our own. So it's going to be different. Different doesn't necessarily mean we're going to adapt. That's one thing we've done this year, gang, is we've adapted every step of the way. We've adapted. And if we do go into another national lockdown, you know what, gang, we will adapt again. We will get through it. So this year, I beg you, if you know someone who's lonely, give them a call, a text message, or WhatsApp, or however you communicate. And if you are that lonely person, reach out. Because it takes courage to reach out and ask for help. And as always, at the bottom of these show notes, there's loads of different organisations that you can get in touch with. So, Aaron, you looking forward to Christmas?
Yes and no. It is a funny one, to be honest. I think Christmas, we've said on probably an earlier podcast, I can't remember exactly when, it's one of the times of the year where everyone's happy and, you can go out and normally people are smiling and everyone's kind of in this elevated mood. And it's a shame that we don't seem to have that around at the minute because the mood's completely, taken a 360. But I think you touched on a good point there in relation to like adapting and stuff. And I think anyone listening to this or anyone going through what they're going through and thinking, this is not the Christmas we expected, we should actually be proud of ourselves for getting this far because it's been a tough year for every single one of us for different reasons, for different things that we've gone through. And just a matter of fact that we're actually a part of history through what we're going through, not just as a nation, but even just within our small sector. So if you're still persevering, just keep going because like you said, the human body, the human mind, it's a powerful thing. As much as we speak about the negative side of it, it's also very powerful in terms of adapting, just like you said. So, I'm trying to look at the positives. I think the news about I think it's just Christmas Day now that we can do something. That was a little bit of a downer because obviously me and the missus we kind of split the days that we go to like the in-laws and then my parents. So we're just gonna have to, again adapt, do half a day each here and there. But main thing is we're healthy. And, we have to try and take some level of positive impact or positive perspective on that. So yeah, the things I'm looking forward to is that, and I'll probably save my liver to be honest, which is probably the main thing because otherwise I'll just be drinking for 3 or 4 days straight. So probably just wind this up.
You're preaching to the choir here. Well,
Yeah.
like on the weekend, like me and Kate and the baby were all together, and it was my birthday, and so we started it then, and we're drinking a bit earlier and eating more, and then Monday come, I had to go back to the gym. Kate's come back to work today, so we got ourselves hyped up for Christmas. Then you go, oh no, the real world. And when you leave your actual house where you're a bit Christmassy, you go, Christmas trees up and you've got the lights up and Father Christmas is coming. Then you go back out and it's looking forward to Christmas. No, not really. I lost my dad this year. Look. Looking forward to Christmas. Well, no, I can't see my mum. Well, you look forward to Christmas. Well, and you're thinking, as you say, normally this time of year, you're walking past someone in the street and you go, Merry Christmas, Bert. Merry Christmas, Champ. This year it's, and then we've got that kind of culture at the moment. If your nan and granddad or your mom or your brother or your mates come in the garden, then you never know if your next door neighbour is going to grass you in and I'm not, you know what I'm saying? It's taken that kind of natural goodwill out of everyone this year. What do you think?
Yeah. Sorry.
You carry on. Sorry, bro.
No, I was just going to say it is that. And I think it's also a combination of the media and stuff as well that we consume or well, some of us consume as well. I don't think it helps us. I'd much prefer again, I'm not an expert in this, but I much prefer, for example, the messages that we're sending out on a daily basis is spend 10 minutes a day and go for a walk, because that is actually going to be better for your physical and mental well-being, rather than here's the stats of this many people dying today. And, even those stats, we don't really know the ins and outs of, are they dying with COVID or because of COVID? And, there's a lot of ambiguity in relation to that. So I think just a matter of, let's reinforce some positive habits, because when you get people walking, you instantly become creative. Your heart's slightly healthier, because this is a virus that effectively, it goes for your lungs, your cardiovascular, more so. So give us positive things that naturally will just make us happier, or ring somebody you haven't spoken to in ages, or give somebody a random FaceTime, tell them you love them. Those kind of messages I think we need more of, and that's hopefully what at least the audience that listen to this try and get from us. That's what we try and encourage, these kind of messages moving forward. But yeah, that was all I was going to add. Kev, I know you're going to move over.
No. Well, I was going to say to Tom, look, 'cause you're a barber, and we always say, look, if you're a barman, a gym instructor, or a barber, we're the council estate councillors. So what's been the feel when you're trimming people up?
I think, to be honest, as Aaron just touched on then, I think definitely this year, like the Friday just gone, it sounds stupid really, but I often call it D-Day, like just before Christmas, everyone breaks up from work, you come for an haircut, you're in the pub, it's a good atmosphere. And I think, that's one thing definitely I'm noticing this year, that people are just, there's no buzzes there, there's no, people are breaking up from work, like last Friday, and then, probably sat doing the same thing they would on Christmas Day, the 4 days before Christmas. So, and like Aaron said with the the news as well, obviously a month ago saying, you can have your 5 days, everyone's got all worked up for it, people have gone out, they've sorted everything out, and then for them now to say, you've only got 1 day, so it's heartbreaking for people, and it really. But yeah, I just think the mood, I think we definitely need some sort of lift. But it's like you said, I think with inevitable with the lockdown coming again. So I think Aaron said, I think it's definitely something I want to try and do, just keep away from the media really at the minute, because it's like you say, you've got Sky News coming up on your phone all day, this, that you come home, it's on, you're at work, people are talking about it. I think, like you say, post a few more positive things rather than just keep, saying, oh, he's locked down again, this and that, and it's no good, is it really?
Well, Christmas, it's all about giving. But really, life should be like that. But we'll have these people who give once a year. But even though on New Year's Eve, when we used to go on pub crawls around the village, and you'd be walking past people, and the same bloke would walk past you every single day of the year and go, "Happy New Year, Bert, how you doing?" And I feel like we're kind of missing that this year. And the one thing I do think, we're not going to have like a VE day. When they say 2021, July 2nd, the virus was over. And I think in the first lockdown, we kind of thought that the virus wasn't going to be over. But by Christmas, we'd have kind of got an angle of it. So even if it was, the kids finished school on the 11th, so people like myself and my wife, we would have isolated. So we could have sat with mum and dad and my mother-in-law and my brother. But because we've only had a week of isolation with the kids being, do I want to roll that dice? And then on the flip side, I know of people and they go, well, my mum's really poorly kept. We don't know if we're going to have her next year. So we're going to roll the dice. And I think these are all such big decisions. It's not like, well, am I going to drink Guinness, or am I going to have a cider tonight, or should I wear blue or red? All these decisions are massive decisions, aren't they?
Well, that's one thing that surprised me. Yeah, it's one thing that surprised me, really. The amount of people that have sort of, made plans and now they're like backing out of it because they're saying, oh, I don't know whether I want to do it, my hands old, or, and I do think people will be sensible about it this year. I think unless you've made up your mind a month or two ago, I think most people, I think now they're just coming to the light of, like you say, it's just going to be small, but, like you say, it doesn't have to be terrible, does it? You can still enjoy it, have your dinner, have a few beers and that, and, it can still be a good day, but, like with the technology we've got now, it's not the same, but at least, you can video call relatives and stuff like that, and you can still keep them in the loop, so.
But what do you think, Lee? I mean, obviously you've got Calla, but then you still want to see your family, as your sisters and your mom and your dad and Nikki's family. Have you been?
Actually, Kev, after years of running pubs, all I've done since I've not been doing that probably 5 years now, 6 years is stay at home, because I was, I think the good thing about this is you're not going to be running around like a headless chicken. The kids are going to be able to stop at home and play with the toys, which, let's face it, that's what they want to do. So to me, just slow it down, enjoy the time a bit, enjoy it at home, have a nice dinner. And you can, there's going to be times when you can see your friends. I mean, my thoughts are with people who haven't got anywhere to go anyway and are sitting at home in the flat or wherever on the road. And also, I've got a friend who usually goes up north to see his mom. He's on his own, and his mom's not well. And it's one of those. It could be the last Christmas that he gets to see her, and you feel for that, But I think the majority of people just enjoy it. Enjoy a less chaotic Christmas. That
means if you want to wake up and have a glass of something, you haven't got to drive.
Exactly.
Exactly. But I think what you said there is like what we said. The Dillon family is, whether it's April, June, July, October, whenever it is, we can all do it. We're going to get a turkey or whatever it is, and we're going to have a Christmas dinner then. And we're just going to have a good knees up with family and friends. And, it don't matter when it is, as long as we're all together. That's when it'll be Christmas to me. And as you say, the 25th, because I've got my daughter upstairs, Father Christmas is coming. So it'll be wonderful for us. You know what I mean? But it's going to be different, but different doesn't necessarily mean bad. What do you think, Az?
No, I agree. I just think, obviously for people and even myself as well, I'm not immune to this. It's the lack of control and the uncertainty that we're consistently getting. It's different if, like Tom touched on earlier, if a month ago we had already been told we've only got one day, that would have been absolutely fine. Do you know what I mean? Because you're not setting somebody up here to then knock them straight back down here. And I think it's that's really affecting people the most. So we have to adapt, like Lee said, like you just said there as well. And I think one thing I wanted to just add on to what Tom was saying earlier, which I thought was a great point as well, is that around the media and stuff is we have the actual control that we do have right now. We really have to protect that. So yes, we can't control a lot of the external stuff that's going on in the world, but we do have the ability to control what comes in through our ears. So listening to podcasts like this hopefully are slightly more uplifting or at least educational in terms of where you can reach out. But switching that news on, at least in my opinion, isn't going to help you. It's only going to increase your anxiety. It's only going to elevate the amount that you're scared. So right now, maybe making smarter choices and knowing that when you pick up that remote, think about your intent. Think about what I'm actually going to do now. I'm just going to put the news on because the next door neighbors put the news on, or my mom's texting me to watch the news, knowing that at the end of it, I'm going to be fed up and pissed off at the government or the world and everything. Just step away from it. Just don't do it. Put a comedy on. Lately, all I've been doing is just watching comedy shows, and I just find that sitting in my four walls, working daily, I need something at the back that just makes me laugh on a daily basis. And laughing is it releases endorphins and stuff. It's good for you chemically, from a biological standpoint. It's going to make you feel better. So that is an intentional habit that I do. Me just forcing myself instantly, on a daily basis, to laugh, and that keeps me sane. So if there's anyone out there struggling, think of little ways that you can take that bit of control back in your day.
Sorry, Kev. I just want to jump in there because we've had a comment off Paul Boggy. Hi Paul. And it's about the media. And I think Aaron's just summed it up. So Paul's opinion is that the media is instilling fear and scaremongering. And it's making folks scared and confused. But what we have to remember is what Aaron said there was key, is you can switch all that off. So whether they are scaremongering to sell papers or whatever, it really doesn't matter. What you've got to remember is we can get away from that, and I think there's the key to it.
What I was going to say just before Boggy said that, and I've been your Boggy, but was the problem with peace? It don't sell. If my belly's full and I'm warm and I'm loved, and you say, "Do you want to buy this?" I go, "Why? I'm happy." The beauty of fear is a great way of controlling you. And at the start of the lockdown, the first lockdown, when you're shouting over your next door neighbour, "You're right, do you need some bread? Are you okay?" And you walk past someone in the street and you go, "How are you?" And you're that happy to talk to someone and go, "I'm having a bad day." "Are you all right? Keep your chin up." But what has happened is they've divided the people through many different forms of fear. If you're frightened, you'll do anything to stop being frightened. It's a great way of controlling your fears, and divide and conquer. So instead of having this division, we're stronger and we're better when we come together. So instead of thinking, oh, that bastard next door, he's got his nan around, or oh, you'll never guess what he's. Don't judge so much. Just reach out and care, because when we care and we come together, we're stronger in all aspects.
Yeah, you're spot on there, Kev.
And I think that's what they've done. They've whipped the country and the people into this much of a frenzy. What's that say? They would say, everyone has got the right to an opinion, unless you don't agree with me, and then you're a Nazi. You know, but let's just be a bit more understanding. Let's have a bit more compassion. And this compassion just hasn't got to be at Christmas. You know, we can do this all year round. What do you think, Tom?
Well, I was just about to say, Kev, I totally agree with you there. And I think what I noticed from, different people, sort of 20, 30 different people seeing every day, is, there's such a divide. And I've been saying this a lot to people lately. And I think, like, it's very, very American, if you ask me, like the way it's all going in this country is, as you're probably, well aware, like the Biden and Trump thing in America, it's like you've got to be on one side, and everyone expects you to take a side now. And as you were just saying, like, I've been saying this to a lot of people. Why can't we just, middle? You don't have to believe in this or believe in that. You just all be together, because, like you say, at the end of the day, who knows that we could be in it for another 6 months, could be in it for 2 months. You just don't know, do you? So rather than arguing with each other and saying, oh, you don't want to get the vaccine, or you do want to get the vaccine, or stuff like that, just come together, because like Aaron said, that's when we're best, when we come together.
What do you think, Aaron?
No, absolutely. I think that's what the message we try and share. That's the message that I think when people think in hindsight, it's always the best one, coming together and just being. I'm not sure what the word is. I don't know if it's accepting that people can have a different opinion to yourself. I always use like the football analogy. Football is one of those things. It's such a contrasting thing, even with players, let alone teams and stuff. You're almost arguing, and the thing is, you're not even looking at facts most of the time. It's just on your opinion, it's on your beliefs, on whatever it is. And I think that even now, like for myself, for example, sorry, I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but even now for myself, I have to now look at what my wife wants and what I want, and then what my family want in terms of the decisions that we're going to be making over Christmas. For example, for me, I'm thinking, what's the risk factor? The risk factor of if I go and meet my family on one day, but then I meet the other family on the other day, isn't that the same as meeting them all on the same day, if that makes sense? Whereas my wife's saying, well, effectively, the laws are saying we should only be doing it on a Christmas. Then my logic brain is then thinking, well, let's be honest, the virus isn't just going to stop on a particular day. And I'm thinking like that. And what's happening is it's causing friction that doesn't need to be friction. I just need to accept that one person's feeling uncomfortable in probably the worst time that any of us have gone through in our lives, and have to just be accepting of that. So now we've kind of just come to an agreement, literally like an hour before this episode, is that if one person feels uncomfortable and you're in a tribe and you're working together towards one common goal, just be there for that person. Be more compassionate. So the same with somebody else. If somebody doesn't want to take the vaccine, or whatever the argument or whatever it is, just be compassionate that what this person's going through, just because you may think different or may have a different perspective, let's put an arm around that person and let's try and be a bit more comforting towards them. Does that make sense?
Well, it's like that old saying, you're only as strong as your weakest link. But let's think about fear or anxiety. Like if you go, I'm frightened of balloons. To someone who isn't frightened of balloons, you go, oh, you saft bugger. It's a balloon. But to you, that balloon is frightening. So instead of thinking, oh, you saft git, I'm not frightened of balloons, look, I've got one. Let's just understand, for whatever reason, that person is frightened, or that balloon makes him anxious. Absolutely. So let's just have a greater understanding, because we've all got stuff, be it injections, spiders, heights, bloody whatever it is. We've all got it, but let's put our foot in the other shoe and go, well, let's have a greater understanding, because if that was me and that balloon and put me in a coffin or give me a needle, it becomes very real then. It's easy to laugh at someone for something, but when you put the foot in the other shoe, it makes sense. So let's just put ourselves in that person's situation. And if one person, sorry,
Kev. No, carry on. I was just saying we don't do that enough. What you were saying, I think that's a brilliant point. I remember when I first passed my driving test, like 6 months after, I'm getting annoyed at learner drivers. I'm thinking, why they're so slow? Like, what's this person doing? Why they're on the road? And then the moment I had an accident 4 or 5 years later, my whole confidence went down. And then instantly in my head, then I'd have so much more compassion to now I'm driving as slow as the learner drivers when I see them on the road, because I remember now, one, what it was like at that point, and two, obviously what an accident can do. So I think you're 100% right, but it's trying to make ourselves fall into that habit of putting ourselves in other people's shoes on a daily basis. You know, we're human. We kind of almost relapse back into this kind of habitual mode of where it's all about us. Whereas I think you guys are hitting the nail on the head that now is probably a time more than ever. It can't just be all about us. We have to almost think about our neighbours.
But it's like with this as well. Like I keep hoping this lockdown will bring a greater light onto mental health, and once we're back into the real world, I'm going to say to Kate, you know, it's a nice day. Let's go to Worcester. Let's go to Weston-super-Mare. And it's like when you're on holiday or you're at someone's funeral, and you go, I'll tell you something. I ain't going to sweat the small stuff no more. I'm going to step back and I'm going to enjoy it. And before you know it, after you've left the wake or after you've got out the airport, you're back to your old self. And I think that's the problem. We have all these great ideas of, oh, I'm going to be a different me. As soon as we get back on that hamster wheel, we just fall back into our old traits. And I think it's our job and our duty as brothers, sisters, to remind each other and go, you promised me you weren't going to do this. But it's bloody easier said than done. But New Year's resolutions, I'll tell you something, in the new year, I'm going to pack in the fags, I'm going to run 50 miles a day. You do it for a week and you go, you know what, I'll have one, or I'll have today off the run. So let's not beat ourselves up. Why do a New Year's resolution and just do every day? And you know what, gang, if you balls it up on one of the days, start it again tomorrow. Don't lose focus just because you've had a relapse.
That's right. We've got a comment off Bob, your old man, Kev. Hi, Bob. Merry Christmas. And Bob says, you have to choose between good mood, bad mood each day. Shit is going to happen either way. So it's basically, it's up to you which way you're going to go.
What's that saying, Aaron? You're better with these than me. It's only 10%. Only 10% of what actually happened matters. It's the 90% of perception of it.
The way you react.
Yeah,
that's right. Like it can be, God, I've just my car's just been nicked, or the cat's just had a shit on the carpet. If you're in a good mood, you clean it up, or you go and buy a new car. But if you're in a funk, that one thing could be that tipping point. But it's how we react to the problem. And if me, when I'm on top of the world, when I'm bulletproof, it takes a lot to knock me off my perch. But when I'm in that funk, bloody hell. Yeah. God, you know, the smallest of things, you know, my cat's messing on the carpet, or, you know, I'll go to the pub with you lot and I'll walk in a bit late and you've got a round in going, well, how come they haven't got me a drink? Don't they love me? But really, I just walked in 5 minutes too late.
Absolutely. I think just to add to that, Kev, what you were saying there, and we had a conversation about this actually this week. When you're in that funk, everything we're saying now, we don't think of it. You know, we're in this completely different state of mind where all the obvious things that are actually going to move us forward, for some reason, they don't seem to, you know, crop up. Or if they are there, we just don't have the energy to do it. And one of the things I recognized, as you were saying this, actually, the best time that I was able to shift my thinking very, very quickly, if something bad happened at any time, was when I was practicing gratitude on a daily basis. Now, we speak about that. We see it in books. We see, you know, famous people on the telly tell us, practice gratitude. Be grateful for what you have right now. You know, we've got a roof over our head, all four of us. We've got internet connection, X, Y, and Z. But again, we kind of relapse back into that state if we just use that term again. And what I realized is, a bit like showering, if you can practice gratitude every single day, but not just make it, oh, I'm grateful for this warm shower or the clothes that I'm putting on afterwards or this warm meal, but choose different things like, you know, I don't know, socks on my feet, for example, or a telephone. You know, I can afford the contract. It instantly changes the way that you just perceive the world. And it almost, it's weird because as you were saying it, I remember I had a flat tire, I had my roof fall down, and I had an accident all within about 2 or 3 weeks when I was doing a property up in Stoke. If that happened to me this month or last month, I'd be an absolute wreck. I wouldn't want to speak to no one. I wouldn't be coming on these podcasts. I'd be struggling. And this is like 3-4 years down the line with hopefully a slightly higher IQ and intelligence. But back then, because I was practicing gratitude on a daily basis, my first thoughts were, I'm very fortunate to have bought this house that I'm now renovating. I have a car that takes me from A to Z, and I also have the money to fix this tire. Instantly changed it, and I wasn't dwelling on the moment. So like Bob pointed out there, in terms of I was always choosing that good mood at the beginning. So then rather than thinking of the problems, I was thinking of solutions instantly. So instantly it was like solution, and then I'd kind of force myself to go into gratitude mode. So maybe if anyone's listening, maybe just try that as an exercise. I'll try it myself as well, because I'm guilty of using it, benefiting from it, and then kind of thinking, yeah, I'll be all right now. And then I just kind of go through the motions again.
Well, what's that prayer that I do normally at AA? Give me the serenity to accept the things I can change, the strength to change. What is it? Giving us, it's basically.
You need to go back to the meetings, Kev.
It's basically allow me to understand the things I can't change. I can't see. My loved ones died. I can't change the wisdom to know the things I can change. You know, if I do more sit-ups, I'm going to get better abs. If I read more, I'm going to learn more. And the wisdom to know the difference. And I think that's sometimes what we get ourselves into a pickle about. And I know that's with me with depression. And like, you'll be in a funk, and then you start thinking, well, because I can't see, I can't drive, so I can't take Jasmine to school. Because I can't do it. And then you go down that rabbit hole. But really, worrying's like a rocking horse. I can ride it all night, but it's not going to take me anywhere. But sometimes we fixate on the things we have no chance of changing. So let's just be grateful for the things that we have got. And let's, figure out the things that we can change. Does that make sense?
Yeah, if I can just add to that, Kev. I think like just thinking about my own personal experiences, and I've been a barber now for about 11 years, and I think you saying things can change your mood. I've gone into work some days, I wake up and like you say, you sit on the end of the bed, you think, I can't be bothered. Then you look outside, it's raining. Everything seems to go wrong, doesn't it? And I think that's where I used to go wrong. I used to go into work, get that first customer on the chair, and then I'd be like, not talking to him, and then I'm thinking to myself, what, I shouldn't be taking this out on him. But in the reality, when you start talking to someone and they start telling you their problems, it takes the emphasis off yours as well. And like I said, it was something I really struggled with when I was younger. Like you said, worrying. I used to worry, is he going to come in, is he going to moan, or am I going to cut his hair right? Is that too short? Is it too long? That kind of thing. And I was anxious for years, and I actually stopped cutting hair for a little bit because of it. Just because I just felt like I couldn't deal with it anymore. But after going back into it now, and I think changing the mindset of like you say, just the way I look at it now, if I can talk to someone and I know that person's got no one else, sorry, you've done a good thing for the day. You've listened to someone, you've helped them out, you've just given them an ear, and it's just a lot better, isn't it?
And that's what I think the beauty of community is. At the moment, for the last how many years, we've lost that sense of community. I've got my next door neighbour, Veronica, and we talk over the fence most days. And through proper lockdown, the first one, we talked every day, and it was lovely. It's been a company for us. She lives on her own, and just having that. But gradually, we're losing it, and I hope that is one thing that comes back. I think I miss giving my mum a big kiss and cuddle, but I miss the handshake. I do. When you just walk up to people, like, where you can just give a handshake, and you nearest and dearest, and you handshake, and you pull them shoulder to shoulder, and them sad things.
You end up sort of feeling really awkward, don't you? Because you go to put your fist and then you do that with your arm. That just feels stupid, and it's like you say, you end up being in that awkward stage, don't you, for a couple of minutes, really.
But won't it be great? And hopefully, it seems a long time next Christmas, but really, as you get older, the years fly by. So hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully this time next year, we're all still here, we're all still happy and well, and won't next year just be that little bit more special, because we'll be talking, we missed last year, so we've got to have twice as much this year, twice as many pigs in blankets, twice as much pudding, twice as much. It ain't going to be that far away. I honestly believe that. Have we had any more comments, Lee?
No, mate.
Well, what time are we on? Is there anything else anyone wants to say about anything, Aaron?
I was just thinking, I'm not sure who's on, but even you lads as well, if maybe it'd just be good to end it more on like a positive note. Obviously, that's where we're trying to go in terms of what we're grateful for and what we're looking forward to on Christmas, just something like that. So I kind of just wanted to put you on the spot, really, like you normally put us. So, Kev, what are you grateful for and what are you looking forward to most on Christmas Day?
Any day above ground is a good day. So I'm grateful. I mean, for you guys, I'm grateful for my Lions family. I'm grateful to considering the Dillon family is so small. There's me, my wife, my daughter, my mum, my dad, my brother, and my mother-in-law. I've got the biggest family I know. You know what I mean? Because how many people I've got from up that club and from out in the street and from everywhere, who I honestly consider family. So I'm very blessed. I'm looking forward to waking up, Father Christmas coming. So on one day of the year, I don't mind waking up early on Christmas. So I'm very blessed, and that's what we just got to remind ourselves of, Black Country saying, it could always be worse.
Yes, I mean, just started with a bit of bad news because I've just found out my dad actually has got COVID this morning, so I can't go around there Christmas Day now. But I'm grateful to have a fiance, and I'll be spending it with our family, and I'm here having some dinner, a bit of wine, a few beers, not too much hopefully because I don't want to head out the next day. But like you say, just grateful to be here. Really, like you say, there's been a lot of negativity this year, and I think definitely grateful to you guys as well. I've said to a lot of people over the last few days, I think just coming on here talking, sharing things. The episode I did a few weeks ago, I really had a buzz about that when I come off it, and I mean, there's one thing I can say to people, just talk to each other. Really, just if you feel anything, just ring someone, pick up the phone, and there's a lot of help, like you say, there's a lot of help out there as well if you haven't got anyone to ring. But just grateful to still in a job, still in the house, and that. So yeah.
Love that. I hope your dad gets better, mate. Lee?
No, thank you, mate. He's all right, by the way. Yeah, he's fine, as I know anyway. Cheers.
I'm echoing the rest, really. Family, there's been a few times over the last 6 years that I didn't think we'd all be sitting around a table at Christmas. So I'm just grateful for that, and I'm grateful in a sense for COVID because it's meant I've spent the majority of my time at home this year, and that's time I'll never get back. I've got to join the real world at some point again and be out working all the time. So it's been a blessing in disguise for me.
Aaron?
So I'll choose something different. Obviously, I'm grateful for all my loved ones, for you guys and everything. But this week, I'm extremely grateful to Tom because Tom's taken over our social media. So thank you for Tom for helping with all of that stuff. Because obviously, spreading the message is really important for us. This is what we want to be doing. So Tom, I'm extremely grateful. And I think the thing I'm looking forward to, funnily enough, is not having a hangover on Boxing Day, probably for the first time ever. So I'll be up fresh and probably hit the sales if it's safe to do so. So yeah, and of course, obviously, for anyone listening to this and you guys as well.
And one thing I'm looking forward to, being back in that studio, because this Zoom and whatever has served the purpose. And I'm so grateful we've got it. Because if it was back in the 90s, when we'd all have to do this on one house phone, you know what I mean? But I am looking forward to getting back in the studio because I love contact. I love people. But if anyone, are we all right to finish? I'm gonna leave you on the first quote, and I think it's appropriate because it's Christmas. We ever did. May your God bless you, and if you don't believe in God, find something to believe in, even if it's just believing in yourself. Because someone who doesn't believe in anything will always be lost. So from the Black Country Blokes, have a Merry Christmas and a Boston New Year, and now more than ever, take care of yourselves and each other. Ta-ra a bit.
Listen.
And that's a wrap for another show. But if there are any comments or messages that you would like us to read out for our next podcast, please be in touch. There are also lots of different organisations at the bottom of this page, and hopefully they can help you or someone you care about. Please share this to spread the word. Until we talk next time, ta-ra a bit.
Listen.